All right. Oh, I saw that. You just want to be on YouTube. You're going to be now, too.
So with Patricia getting me launched on this sunny, hot, and very humid day at the Florida Ridge, I head off toward the east into the wind. And remember that I'm heading to the east. That will become important later on. The launch is fine. Air is smooth down low. And I got JJ flying the tug, and he's one of the best pilots there is. JJ gets me under some good clouds, but after about 20 minutes or so, they're starting to really dominate the sky, and there's very little blue left. I'm able to stay up in the lift for a pretty good time without drifting very far from the landing zone, and with what I'm seeing up there, that's a good thing. As you can see right here, it's kind of a crazy shot where I'm actually getting some lift as this cloud starts to rain right in front of me. In a second, you'll see, however, the weather's still good down up below, and the tug is actually towing up another pilot. He'll kind of fly behind me there in a second. There we go. And you'll also notice as I turn, there's still some sun in places on the ground. So I get some great air time and nice, cool, stable air, and I stayed up as long as I could. Eventually, though, I have to leave to find lift a little closer to the landing zone, and I find Ray right there trying to work back up, same as I am. I'm thinking about maybe having to land pretty soon, but I'm downwind, so if I get too low, I'll just turn east into the wind, same direction I've taken off and landed earlier today, so that should be a no-brainer. And I even noted gliders on the ground there that I suppose has just landed, and it's headed east, so that's confirming my landing idea of landing into the wind headed east. Everything looks good, so I can just keep trying to get up in the air until the very last moment. So Ray and I are working this pretty hard. You'll see him coming in there right there. And we would gain 200 feet and then we'd lose 300. And we just kept working as hard as we could. We're starting to get closer to each other in our pattern, so I'm going to change my course a little bit, try to get into the same circle that he is. And of course I do that mostly for safety, but also I'm hoping, since Ray is a much better pilot than I am, that I can maybe ride on his coattails and get some better lift than I was getting before. I found out later that I was flying in Ray's blind spot from time to time, and he kept looking up for me. Both of us were actually watching the ground every now and then as well, watching the shadows of both gliders, and you can see some of those shadows here in the next few shots. You can kind of see how close we are, at least from a ground perspective. We never do find a core, by the way, so we're just kind of riding these popcorn thermals, just hoping to stay up. Eventually, though, I know it's over, so I'm going to set up to land. I set up to land headed east, of course. By the way, note the storm that's going to come up on my left there. That's the one I was flying near earlier that showed all of the rain that was being dumped. And you'll see that after I make one more turn. And then I start to head in toward the landing zone. As I'm coming in now, I'm going to make a mistake. I don't check the flags for wind direction. Instead, on final approach, which I'm coming up on, after I clear the trees, you're going to see me look to the left, and that's when I see the windsock, which I noticed for the first time is pointing in the wrong direction. But it's too late for me now. I'm committed. I don't have the altitude to make a safe turn, so I'm just going to ride it out with the tail a little bit of a crosswind, and then I know I'm going to have to run it out as well because it's not safe to really flare hard if it's doing what I think it's doing. In the end, it worked out fine, so I had to do a little dance that I am going to call the I didn't break any down tubes dance. It might seem stupid, but if you've ever thought you were going to plow in on a landing and you didn't, well, you know dancing is perfectly appropriate. Everybody fly safe. I'll see you next time.